Hi, my name is Stacey J, and thank you so much for joining me again on another video of Papa Genius on Politics. And today's video is a very interesting one, and it's what if Eve encountered a reptilian? Now, many people call unidentified subjects aliens. However, in my opinion, I do believe that they are not of this world, but they are of another world. But I do think that it's more spiritual than just being unknown. I do think that these unidentified subjects that we have not officially made contact with, we've actually made unknown contact with them. And I do believe that they are spiritual. I think they're demons. Now, I have a lot of really interesting evidence to back up my theory. And let's start with the first one, and that is the scripture coming from Genesis, the Holy Bible. And it's now the serpent in chapter 3. Now the serpent was more crafty than any of the wild animals the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, "Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden?" And the woman said to the serpent, "We may eat fruit from the trees in the garden, but God did say, you must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch, or you will die." "You will not certainly die," the serpent said to the woman, "for God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be open, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." Another interesting scripture in the Bible comes from Revelations 12:4, and it says, "His tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born." So if you look at both of those scriptures, it gives very detailed information that this individual that was able to communicate with humankind had some type of reptilian manifestation physically and also spiritually. Because in Revelation 12:4, when it's described that when Lucifer, who was one of God's elect angels, according to the Holy Scriptures, when he was cast out of heaven, he manifested into a dragon. A dragon is something that is in the form of a reptile, a large lizard. The Bible also calls these things like Leviathan. And so that just lets me know that we are dealing with a species that has had access to heaven at one time, and that they have been kicked out of heaven, and they are now in the realm of the earth. And he has the ability over the stars, because when he was kicked out of heaven, it says that the dragon, again the reptile, was able to take with him not only angel beings, but he also was able to take stars. It said his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven. And I take that as literal, not rhetorical, or not just saying that, just it's just referring to just the angels. No, that means that he was able to actually physically take the stars with him, which is the reason why I think he has the ability to appear as light. And many of these quote unquote alien forms, these orbs, these new stars that we're now seeing manifesting into more like almost celestial, it's like it's different. We've never seen stars manifest the way that they are within the last 2 to 3 years. And so I think that these things are now making themselves appear to mankind just as they have done in the past. This is not something new for them, but I do believe that these things are demonic.
Bill and Sandra, when things like this are happening, it seems everyone starts to look up, like my crew and I have been here in Mendham recording this video that you're looking at right now. We have no idea what it is, if it's a natural phenomenon, because it could be, but this is why so many municipalities are now asking people to reach out and send their videos to them or to experts who might be able to sort out what they're seeing in the skies. But I guarantee there are so many people looking up and making those.
What you're looking at right now, this green glowing object, this is an actual orb. This is a real orb. This is not AI. This is not something that's generated. And the orbs don't always come in the color green. However, they have been known to come in that color more frequently. And these are just documents of, like a catalog of the various orb that have been recorded or have been photographed, and in particular conditions, some in dry conditions, some when it's wet outside. And it's very interesting. They have almost this greenish reptile color. And again, orbs come in various colors. They can come in clear, they can come in blue. Some of them I've seen like lightish violet colors, iridescent color. They're just a very strange phenomenon of our environment, but they have really been seen lately in the sky, and they've been coming in like threes or a dozen or 10. It's just very strange. They're considered to be physical dew and energy. They're energy sources. Natural dew is water and in the form of droplets that appear on surface due to condensation. Now, and they're considered exothermic. Now, in the story of Adam and Eve, in that story, if you go a little bit deeper, you'll see that even God appeared to Adam and Eve in a form of like a spiritual energy that would come with them every day and would commune with them. And they were able to communicate with God. Now, I do believe that the serpent also was able to manifest into an animal. He could have manifested in a light, but he manifested as well, and he used energy within that garden. Now, water forms a lot of energy, and they were surrounded by 4 rivers, 4 bodies of water. And so dew always formed in that Garden of Eden. I also know that in the scriptures, in that Revelations 12:4, it talks about the serpent is always coming after the woman and the seed that's in her. And we now know that Satan will always come after Jesus when Jesus entered into this realm of the earth. And his purpose was to destroy his death, his burial, and resurrection. So the serpent even tempted Jesus. And it doesn't say what type of form he used to speak with the Lord, but it did say that Satan had the ability to take God up into, and Nahas is meaning tempt in Hebrew, but it says that Satan had the ability to take God up into high places, and he was able to manipulate the Lord in transporting him. Now, how can you transport someone? And it said that he took him around the world, and he was able to show him that this was his kingdom. But of course, God had the power and the authority to reject the deal that Satan had tried to tempt Jesus with. Now, the Vatican also knows a lot about this creature and these creatures that left with Satan, Lucifer, and fell to this earth, because they have some weird some type of weird entrapment with this thing. Like, it's all over their temples, it's on their altar. They even have like ceremonies for the serpent. And it's just very, very strange. And again, the Lord cursed the serpent. So why would a organization like the Vatican, supposedly Christian, even though we know they came out of the Roman faith, which worshiped many deities, mythology. However, with them being Christian, they know that God cursed the serpent. Why would you use the serpent to be the predominant animal that you have all over your holy tabernacles and altars? Is just very, very strange. And knowing that the end is when all of humanity and the Lord and his kingdom is going to be at war with the serpent, which is also Satan. I don't understand what is this, what encaptures the Vatican with the serpent. It's very strange.
Well, they're having some kind of odd snake procession ceremony where this shirtless boy processes a snake into the audience hall with cardinals, Eastern Orthodox patriarchs, and other religious figures in tow. This is taking place as a Vatican interreligious event.
It's some pretty creepy stuff, I've heard. I heard the whole building is built in the shape of a snake. Even worse, I heard inside the mouth of that snake is a big dead sheep, and the sheep is made out of a bunch of angels. Why would they make a church look like a snake with a sheep in its mouth? Isn't the snake supposed to be the devil, and the sheep are God's kids? Something's not right here. I gotta go check out the guy talking about this, Jonathan Kleck. I'm tired of being lied to. I need the truth.
What's good, Enigmites? Check out this clip from the Joe Rogan podcast and let me know what you think.
Yeah, now the other third type that got mentioned on Mission was reptilians. But every time that they were mentioned, it was really quickly hushed up by whoever else was on the other end of the line. Shut up, don't say that, is what they were doing.
They don't want to talk about the reptilians.
They don't want to talk about the reptilian presence at all. They would talk about the tall whites and the grays being in the lab of environments. You know, not a lot, but some. But these reptilians, it was like nobody wanted to talk about it.
Was there any sort of an explanation? Did anybody give you of why they don't want to talk about it?
No, the only time I got any inkling was that when I, was out of the program and other people started to talk to me about all the different, things. And they're like, well, how many races are there? I don't know. But some people talked about the reptilians. They're like, do you realize that these are evil?
Since my videos keep getting shadow banned or taken down completely on a platform that claims to be the leader in free speech, I'm just going to sit here, stare at the camera, nod my head and say, really, wow, I have no idea what those guys are talking about.
Whenever you see one, you ought to just run like hell. You shouldn't approach it. You shouldn't provoke it. Just get the hell out of its way. Just get out of its way. Just run. It is not something where man-to-man combat you're going to be able to deal with, because they apparently have the strength of 12, 15 men. They're incredibly quick. They're incredibly psychic. They know what you're going to do before you do it. If they get here in mass, we got real problems. Real problems.
Spoken in any detail about what a human being should do if they are in that position? For karmic purposes?
Look, that's not karmic at all. Or a lot of this, all this metaphysical stuff. When you chose to be here, a lot of, in some situations that's true. When you're creating your reality and in your space, but when you're being invaded, that's not karma. That's a violation of free will.
If your free will is being violated, Alex, what should you do?
You should ask for help.
Recently in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Where some people claim that there are these aliens in their backyard. I watched the video and I could not see these aliens that they were referring to. You're familiar with the situation, right?
Oh, I'm very familiar with it. And I've not been able to get anyone on my team who's out in that area to get anything that is what I would call actionable intelligence, hard information. So look, this subject, it's 9 parts myth and whatever, an embellishment, one part fact. It's very difficult. I mean, I've been dealing with this for 33 years, and I'm not saying something like that didn't happen. There's some camera footage of some object that looked like it was blew up or was hit. I have seen one thing that looked like a photo of an unusual looking creature in that backyard. I have seen that. It was sent to me, but we haven't been able to get to the actual officers who were there, or the people who claimed that this creature appeared in their backyard after this object was struck. Is it plausible that could have happened? Yes, because they're near an area, MOA, a military operating area, that do have systems that can target and hit an ET craft.
Okay, what's going on over there?
Okay, lady. Me, my dad, and my brother, we're working on a truck in our backyard, and we have a big lot outside, right? Correct?
Okay.
We were working, and we just see in a corner of our eye something fall down from the sky, and it was with light, and when it hit down, it was like a big impact, and we felt it. We felt like an energy, and then we hear like a lot of footsteps near us, and then we have a big equipment, and we see, and there's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and it's looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually, we're terrified of it.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes, like I can't explain it. And big mouth. They're shiny eyes, and they're not human. They're 100% they're not human.
Fence. That there is a leg motion moving from the right to the left side of the screen. And clearly it is behind there. So this isn't just like a head floating in space. This is a head of that is somehow that does not have full opacity, that the opacity of the head of the shadow is only at about 33% opacity, versus a normal shadow, which would be at 100% opacity, or an object in the screen, which is at 100%. And this isn't anything that you did. It's just what you were able to determine, that this shadow being, or this being in the shadows, possibly creating its own shadow or smoky filter or cloaking technique, is not only cloaking itself from the people there, but cloaking itself from the camera itself, in that it's minimizing our ability to identify pixels inside of that shadow.
Okay, so this is a very slowed down screen recording I took, and I know everybody is trying to find the aliens in front of these guys, but I noticed something insane, and I want everybody, my two friends who will watch this, to take a look down, pay attention to two areas. We're going to look down here on the bottom right behind their fence, and right up there. But we're going to first start down here because I found something crazy. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to what I believe is the creepiest part of this video. And I'm going to point out two things you need to pay attention to right here, which is the head. And if you look really close, there's actually a shiny black eye. And what you will see in about a minute is a hand. That, I believe, is some creature, non-human, crouching down, and that was its eye I just pointed at. And I want you to pay attention to what appear to be fingers running up the fence, as if it's kneeling down or something and peering out. And then there you go, see the fingers. And I think I go back and forth a couple times here, but it looks to me like there's a little other, or a big creature looking through the fence on the bottom there, crouched down. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but you tell me. And then there's his fingers going right up and down, up and down. Just looks like almost a human hand crawling up the fence. And at the very beginning, you see an eye. And I think right here, I show you the fingers. This is my really poor attempt at drawing over the fingers, but you get it. So what's really interesting about this is it is happening next to them and kind of in front of them, but behind a fence. Yeah, the fingers are really crazy. So I think I'm going to show it one more time, and then I zoom out, and I'll show you what even made me realize this was here. So, okay, so see how many different times of looking. So what I noticed was, if you look at the top right, look at the top right now, there's actually a shadow figure. It almost looks like it's a dense, shadowy figure comes into frame. If you're looking right, at the 3 fence posts, if you're looking at the top right of them, you're actually going to see something that looks like a shadow figure that has density, and it's only there for about a minute. And when it walks in the frame, I think I'm just going to highlight it right here. I was doing the best I could on my phone. I noticed there was movement below it, so I don't know if maybe whatever creature was projecting a shadow up above it or something. But see, there's the eye and the hands, but it also looks like there's another aspect to it, which is that shadow that you can clearly see walking. I know everybody's looking for the alien in front of them, but there's one hiding next to them.
Okay, so if we go back and review that play-by-play where he was trying to show you in edited form very slowly, you're going to see, and I slowed it down even more, you'll see that this being has hands that are very much like, almost like salamander hands, you know, like a salamander lizard. But you can see that there is a being behind that wooden fence. That is unbelievable. And it really does remind you of something like a reptilian. It looks like that. And even here it says, so the Lord God said to the serpent, because you disobeyed me, you are cursed above all the livestock and of all the wild animals, and you will crawl on your belly, and you will eat dust for your life. To me, I feel as if he's cursed in 2 ways. He's cursed in regards to having dominion over the stars. He was cursed and he was banished to hell, and he fell like lightning. He has the ability to manipulate light and stars, and he also has the ability, along with his kingdom, has the ability to manipulate the reptile type of creature. And every time you see individuals that give a description of what an unidentified species or an alien looks like, they always tell you the same thing. They look gray. They have these big wide eyes. Are they necessarily gray, or maybe they have a particular coat of a skin and maybe they give the appearance of gray? Reptiles can also give the appearance of gray, or they can give the appearance of green. They have different colors. But that is so weird. This family in Las Vegas, it took them a year.
Tonight, a News Nation exclusive. The teenager who made that 911 call is finally speaking publicly at length and laying out exactly what he saw that night and what has happened since.
What do you remember about that night? What do you remember seeing?
Start again, I guess. We were in the backyard fixing a truck, and then out of nowhere we just see a big light fall down and basically crash in the backyard. And moments after, a couple of seconds after, I saw the big giant creature in front of me. The alien, whatever you guys want to call it. The alien demon, whatever you guys want to call it.
What do you believe it is?
A demon.
A demon?
Yeah.
So maybe that's changed, that once you thought it was an alien, now you believe it was a demon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is, only God knows what it was. But I'm thinking it's like something bad, not a good thing.
Was it moving? Was it doing?
Yes, it was moving. You could see he was breathing, he was like pissed off. Like he wanted to do something.
And he was looking at you and your brother?
He was looking at me, yeah.
Did he say anything?
Mm-mm. I remember he was growling like a dog, like he was growling.
When did it end?
As soon as closed my eyes, I guess. I don't know. I think I was praying or something like that, and they just let me go. That's when I went inside, and I saw my dad. I mean, I saw it too.
It felt like it had a control of your body?
Oh yeah, I couldn't move. Yeah.
You were paralyzed at the sight of this thing.
Yeah, I couldn't move.
And you were looking at it for 30 or so seconds, and then all of a sudden it was gone?
Yeah. That was pretty creepy.
A lot of people think that that's just hard to believe.
That, like I said again, they can think whatever they want.
What do you say to the people who believe that your family just made this whole thing up to try to get attention?
They can believe whatever they want, I'm not doing it for fame. If I did it for fame, I would be on YouTube and stuff like that, doing more videos, but I don't care, guys. I just went on TikTok and YouTube, made my story. That's pretty much it. I made no money off this. I want people to know that. I made no money off this. I don't need money. That's pretty much it. They can believe whatever they want.
I bet you hope it doesn't happen to anybody.
Oh, no, hopefully not, no. I hope God, no. Really bad experience. Really traumatizing.
And Ashley, I don't know what your impression of him was, but when I was speaking to him personally, I was really struck by how confident and authentic he was about his memories of that night. There's a lot of people obviously out there in the world that would make up ghost stories in order to chase any sort of clout or fame. But to me, Angel came across as somebody who truly believed that he saw something that night in that backyard right here behind me.
Yeah, Alex, he didn't really seem to have canned answers either. So if this was all a big ruse, he's either a really, really good actor, I mean, Meryl Streep quality, and, he certainly didn't script it, didn't seem to plan out answers, at the grasp.
So now that this story has made international news, of course you're going to have people that debate the authenticity of it.
It was the streak seen across the sky, now seen around the world. This as our 8 News Now investigators confirm Metro actually set up cameras at this home where a family called 911 claiming to see aliens in their backyard. And tonight, a fierce debate is underway about the legitimacy of an alleged UFO crash. Good evening, I'm Janice Valdez.
And I'm Brian Loftus. Our 8 News Now investigators reporting about terrified members of a local family who told police they had aliens in their backyard. Chief Investigator George Knapp here to piece it all together.
As with all things UFO, the public debate is ferocious and ongoing. Was it all a hoax? Were we duped? Was it all an evil plot, a cover-up, all of the above? We took another look at the hubbub to separate wheat from chaff. The fireball captured on a police body cam on the night of April 30th was real. The American Meteor Society says witnesses reported seeing it all across the West, from northeastern Utah to Southern California. Another Las Vegas resident sent us a video of the same object recorded on her home camera.
Investigation by Nexstar station KLAS.
As the story of the Las Vegas incident spread across newscasts and social media, one of NASA's planetary defense officers weighed in to say it was likely a small meteor that fell to Earth hundreds of miles away from Las Vegas. Police videos obtained by 8 News Now indicate Metro officers were among the witnesses.
One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious.
The appearance of the meteor seemingly triggered the events that followed. A frightened family called 911 and told police they had 10-foot-tall alien beings in their backyard. Officers responded to the home minutes later, interviewed the witnesses, canvassed the area, and cautiously inspected the backyard to look for intruders. One thing noticed by the officers was a circle in the soil. In conversations with us and in a podcast interview, Angel, the main witness, suggested the circle might have been created when an unknown object landed in the yard. Social media sleuths have since pointed out that the circular image has been viewable via Google Earth for more than a year. The family told us by phone they had seen suspicious vehicles with men in black types checking out their home. Turns out there is substance to that. A retired police officer fessed up on News Nation that he spent days staking out the house to see what, if anything, unfolded. What about those reports that Metro installed a special surveillance camera atop the house, presumably to watch for intruders, human or otherwise, or overzealous media? Turns out that's true as well. Metro confirmed as much in a statement to 8 News Now's David Charnes. The system stayed on the roof for days. What about the Ring camera video with the weird noise? The main witness, Angel, intimated to us the video was recorded by one of his neighbors, and the audio was from the April 30th UFO crash. It wasn't. The security camera video was recorded in mid-April, according to the man who first posted the clip. He doesn't want his name used, but says the recording was from a fireball that passed over his home in the southwestern part of the valley 2 weeks prior to the alleged alien encounter. The family declined to be interviewed by us, but members have spoken elsewhere and stick to their claims of seeing aliens in the backyard. Dozens of people on social media have analyzed and dissected the images with various claims of aliens spotted in the shadows. Police do not believe this was a hoax call, which could be a crime if done intentionally. In the fervid swamp known as UFO world, our coverage of the story was itself seen as a dastardly plot to distract attention away from a prominent whistleblower named David Grush, who stepped forward around the same time. Grush unveiled his explosive on-camera account on News Nation, which is owned by the parent company of KLAS. In spite of the local news story, Grush's story was reported by news media all over the world. Curses foiled again.
All right. So what do you make of this whistleblower, David Grush?
He first reached out to me about a year ago. We've been in contact ever since. He's the real deal. I mean, he had a distinguished career in the Air Force. Then he went to work for a three-letter agency you probably haven't heard of, the NGA, which basically tracks everything in space, in the air, in the ocean, under the ocean, on land. They keep track of everything. He has the highest security clearances in our government, and in that capacity, he interacted with something like 2,000 SAP, Special Access Programs, and he learned along the way that we're reverse engineering crash flying saucers, and he's been telling that to Congress under oath behind closed doors, and I think they'll probably bring him back. So it's a pretty intriguing story. A lot like what we've been hearing about out in the Nevada desert for a long time.
Right. Of all the stories you've done over decades and decades, this one has really gone worldwide.
The backyard alien?
Yes.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy how much email we get, you know. We're not done with it. We'll see where it goes.
I was going to say, this is not the last of that story.
No.
All right, George, thanks for that. Now,
just about a year ago, the Kenmore family saw these mysterious, unidentifiable creatures in their backyard right here behind me.
If you ever come across any type of demonic activity such as these things, these beings, please know that they are not your friends, okay? They are demonic, and this family is going to give you some illustrations on what they have been experiencing.
What exactly did you see?
Well, I was in another room. My brother called me, and there was a upside-down cross, and there was a Jesus statue in it. They ripped Jesus out of it, they threw him like across the room, and it was floating upside down.
Are you saying floating in the air?
Yeah, like in the air. It was floating upside down.
What did you do? I mean, did you go pick it up? Did you knock it down? Like how?
No, I didn't do nothing. I was just sitting there. I was crazy. I was like, what?
But how did it come down? It's not still floating right now, is it?
No, it came down. So we got closer to it and then it dropped.
It fell to the ground. A crucifix.
Yeah.
Floating in the air, upside down. The Jesus on the crucifix had been ripped off.
Yeah.
And it was floating. Yep. And you can say definitively, without lies, that is what you saw.
Yes. Swear to God, that's what I saw.
Okay, and what about the Bible? What did you tell me about the Bible?
Oh yeah, the Bible. So I was chilling normal. There was just a Bible just going like this, flipping the pages. But it was like steady, like it wasn't because of the air. It was steady, like somebody was holding it. As soon as I got close to it, it dropped again. It just dropped again.
It's inside your house, not outdoors. No wind.
It's inside, yeah.
No wind factor, but the page is steadily turning on a Bible.
Yeah.
And you have the same justification for that as well, demonic presence?
Yeah, I guess it's demonic presence, yeah.
The pages of the Bible were moving on their own, and an actual crucifix hanging upside down?
Yeah. So, we had a couple priests come over to the house, pray over the house, and everything seems to be normal again.
Are you connecting all these things together, everything you saw in your backyard, to the things you've experienced over these past few months?
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, I think so. I still have an explanation of what it is, still pretty weird, and I have no clue what it is.
What did the priest say when they actually came to your house?
They were saying that it might be fallen angels, like demons or fallen angels, something like that.
Fallen angels inside your home.
Yeah, that was pretty creepy.
How does it make you feel about living here still?
Right now I feel good, There's a lot of time priests came over, but whatever happened on last year May, that was pretty scary, man. I was pretty traumatized and stuff like that.
What does that look like to you? You said you're traumatized. I don't want to make you relive it.
Yeah.
What is that like?
pretty bad, man. You can't sleep, you know. Not to sound like a crybaby, but, you know, you cry most of the time when you think about it. You get flashbacks. You know, not a good experience.
With all of the paranormal activity happening inside your house, are you thinking about moving away?
Oh, yeah. Soon I'm gonna move away from this house, yeah.
Everybody or just you?
Everybody, I think.
You guys are done with this place?
Yeah.
Next, you're going to hear a conversation between Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson. I'm just going to let you know I'm not a Tucker Carlson fan. However, with this, I can agree with him 100% on these beings being very demonic. These things are not to be our friends. They are not here to guide us. They are demonic.
Actually, I mean, now is sort of the point where you have to ask, like, what is this? And, you know, so that's
how much of it do you think is ours?
Well, none of it's ours.
None of it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, clearly, you know, the U.S. government is huge. It's the largest human organization. There are, I think there are 2 million federal employees and another 10 million federal contractors, so who are effectively government employees but don't have civil service protection, for example. So that's 12 million people in a country of 340 million working for the federal government. So it's kind of hard to overstate how big the federal government is and how well funded. And so to say the government this, the government that, no, of course, it's people within the government. But yeah, they're working on all kinds of things, obviously, that are classified. But in general, no, they can't control these objects. So no, it's not American technology.
Well,
or Russian or Chinese. It predates, you know, all of that.
Well, some of it does, right? Like for sure, the Kenneth Arnold sightings, that was really early on. That was like the early 1950s. He was seeing these flying saucers, these discs that were moving over mountains.
Well, right. I mean, the prophet Ezekiel writes about it in the first chapter, Wheels in the Sky.
Yeah, that's a crazy one. Boy, when you read
it is
that,
crazy. If you read it, it's like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, and
so,
and not just, you know, the Hebrew scriptures, like it's all over every...
the Vedic texts.
Of course. So these are spiritual phenomenon. There's no evidence they're from another planet. I mean, I think that's the that's the lie, that they're from Mars. Look, space, the atmosphere is really well monitored, right? Both for defense reasons, but also because, like, it'd be nice to know when asteroids are coming. And there's no evidence, has never been any evidence that there are lots of these objects, these vehicles coming into our atmosphere from somewhere else, some other planet. There's no evidence of that at all. So they're from here, and they've been here for thousands of years, whatever they are. And it's pretty clear to me that they're spiritual entities, whatever that means. They're supernatural, and which is to say, supernatural means above the natural, above the observable nature. And they don't behave according to the laws of science as measured by people, you know, and they've been here for a long time. And there's a ton of evidence they're under the ocean and under the ground. So, like, with that fact set, what do you conclude?
When did you start having this opinion that they were spiritual and that they've always been here? Like when did this?
Well, I didn't know anything about the topic until 2017. And
was that after the New York Times piece?
No, it was before. It was before, and the things that I saw, I mean, I was and am still a very conventional person. I mean, I'm 54. I grew up in this country in California, which was like every assumption about America I bought completely, just completely. And I thought that everyone who questioned those assumptions was bad. I just bought into the system completely without even thinking about it. And I imagined that I was like some kind of free thinker and, you know, I'm going against the grain. But like my core assumptions were the assumptions fed to me by the culture and the government, and I didn't even realize it. But anyway, I'd never really thought about UFOs at all, and I'd been in journalism since I was a kid, so of course I'd run into a lot of people who had crazy views on a lot of different topics. UFOs, 9/11, circumcision, you know, like every whack job in the world you run into when you're covering stuff.
Fluoride,
right. I just brushed with non-fluoride toothpaste this morning.
Yeah, me too.
Exactly. But probably unlike you, I didn't have any opinions like that. I was like, fluoride, come on. You know, 9/11, shut up. Yeah. UFOs, you're fucking crazy. You know what I mean? I just I had this reflexive, I'm ashamed of it. I'm not bragging about it. But it was 2017, and really it was the Trump campaign. It goes outside of what we understand about physics. No visible means of propulsion, you know, coming at indescribable speed, hitting the ocean, continuing at speeds that are impossible undersea. I mean, in other words, if I take a, you know, 9mm round or 7.62 by 39 and shoots you at 50 yards underwater in a swimming pool, and it's even more intense in salt water because it's denser, you could catch the bullet if it even makes it to you, right? So if you have a craft, any object underwater that's traveling at 500 knots as measured by sonar, right there you're challenging our understanding of physics. Like, what is that? How can that be? So yeah,
they've tracked that. They've tracked things going 500 knots under the sea.
Yeah, really. Yeah, much faster than any object can actually go undersea. Yo, for sure. Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on underwater, and a lot. And there's video of these things coming out of the sky into the water and also emerging from the water.
Right.
Yeah. So
it's all so blurry though.
I don't think it's
the
that
transmedium video.
Yeah, I don't think some of it's that blurry. I think some of it's crystal clear. And so, like, what is that? And I just personally decided, and people have been hurt by these things. That's a fact. That's a fact. It's a knowable fact. It's a provable fact. And killed. And I'm not saying millions of people have been killed by whatever these things are, but people have been killed, and it's known because it's working its way through the courts out of the VA. So, I don't know, an object that is by definition supernatural, it's above the laws of nature as we understand them, and that has resulted in the deaths of people. But we don't spend enough time thinking about what that adds up to. Not good, actually, not good.
How many people do you think have died from these things?
I don't know, but I mean,
And is it radiation sickness? Is it what's the
so
cause
the person
of
that
death?
I talked to, I interviewed someone who was a Stanford medical school professor who's out there and worth talking to, by the way.
You're talking about Gary Nolan?
That's exactly who I'm talking about. He was effectively an expert witness in these cases, so he's an expert in brain injury. Do you know him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Entirely credible person. Checks all the boxes that I care about. He's got patents, so he's like a lot of Stanford University professors. He's independently rich. I mean, he flew to, I live in a remote place, and he flew to my place at his own expense because he wanted to tell his story. So he's got no profit motive here. He's the most highly credentialed person at the university, practically, at Stanford Medical School. We consider that a big deal. And he's worked on this for over 10 years, assessing the injuries to U.S. servicemen from being in close proximity to these objects or having contact with these objects. And his conclusion, as you know because you've talked to him, is that there's some kind of energy coming off here that scrambles people's brains or kills them. And it's not exactly radiation, at least in his telling to me. So anyway, but the point is, people have died.
Yeah.
And so, it does raise a lot of questions about what the hell, right? What the hell? American citizens have died and you're hiding it? Why are you hiding that? Why would you hide that?
Perhaps because they don't have any explanations. Because it's so beyond our comprehension that they're still trying to piece it together. I would wonder how much interaction they really do have with these things. If I was from another planet or if I was some interdimensional being, I don't know how much I'd give a shit about the president. I don't know how much I'd give a shit about the government. I would probably look at this infantile race, this species, this bizarre territorial apes with thermonuclear weapons, this very weird species. I'd probably look at them as very chaotic, and I wouldn't really have much concern for who's running it. Especially if they have the ability to travel at insane speeds and go undetected. And
well, it depends. Okay, so the template that you're using to understand this is science fiction, right? These are an advanced race of beings from somewhere else. But the template that every other society before us has used is a spiritual one. Mm-hmm. There is a whole world that we can't see that acts on people, a supernatural world. It's acting on us all the time for good and bad. Every society has thought this before ours. In fact, every society in all recorded history has thought that until, I'll be specific, August 1945 when we dropped the atom bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And all of a sudden, the West is just officially secular. We're God. There is no God but us. And that's the world that we have grown up in. But that's an anomaly. No one else has ever thought that. There's never been a society that thought that. Every other society has assumed, and they've had all kinds of different explanations, and the details differ. But the core idea does not differ, never has differed from caves until now, that we're being acted on by spiritual forces at all times. And so to someone born before or living before 1945, I think it would have been much more obvious that this is the thing that every society has written about. And in fact, that battle, that unseen battle around us, that spiritual battle, has like been the basis of every society, of every religion, not just Christianity. So like it just, once you discard your very, very recent assumptions, relatively speaking, about how the world works, you're like, well, that kind of seems like the obvious explanation, right?
It's not that obvious to me.
So what's more obvious, do you think?
Well, once again, I would love to hear your feedback. And have you ever experienced coming across one of these unidentified species? And please let me know what you think. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I look forward to your comments in the comment section. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate you. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.